Hey there, and welcome back to our series here where I am answering your questions. And today's question is this: Megan, how can I tap into and find what I'm calling my golden productive hours? And I love that they phrase that, my golden productive hours, right? Basically meaning, how is it that I can identify when I can really lean in, be the most productive person that I can? And I love this question, and I'm really excited to share one of the tools that I teach inside the top program here today. But first, my name is Megan Sumrell. I am a time management expert for women on a mission to bring work-life harmony to women everywhere through all things time management, organization, and productivity. Now, before I dive into this question, I think it's important for me to take a minute and make sure that you understand what my definition of productivity is, because I am not here to help and teach people how to hustle, make every minute count, go, get up early, stay up late. That is not sustainable, nor is it a very harmonious way to live. So when I talk about productivity, to me, productivity is simply this: getting the most important things done in a stress-free way, all right? And this really ties into the question here today of how to find your golden productive hours, because when we are getting things done in a stress-free way, it means that we are knowing when to do certain types of tasks so that they are as easy and harmonious as possible. Today, I want to walk you through one of the tools that I teach inside of my signature program, my top program. Top stands for time management, organization, and productivity, and then how to use it. This tool is called an energy audit. So before you start worrying, thinking that I'm going to jump in and tell you to tap into your productivity by waking up at 5 a.m., I'm here to let you know that doesn't work for everybody, all right? You may be at your least productive in the morning. If you are following, productivity experts out there that are telling you that the secret to success is waking up at 5 a.m. and getting 2.5 hours of work in before the rest of your family wakes up, that may be fine. And it may be absolutely the worst advice ever for you. So let's talk about how we find out what those golden productive hours are for you. I'm going to tell you very briefly how to complete an energy audit. All right, there are two parts to it. The easiest way to do this, if you are a paper planner user, you're going to be able to just leverage your paper planner to take the notes that you need to doing an energy audit. If not, just grab a blank piece of paper, a notebook, and I find that that's kind of the easiest way to keep track of this. All right, and you're going to have either a page per day, or if you're using the top planner, you've already got each day in a column. You'll just be able to make notes there. So there's two key pieces of information that we track in our energy audit. The first is to check in with yourself every 1 to 2 hours without thinking about the specific work that you're doing, and really check in and say, how am I feeling in terms of my energy level? Am I ready to get things done? Am I feeling really draggy, or am I pretty average? All right. And I wouldn't overthink it beyond just those three categories. You can create your own labeling system for you. I tend to use a series of smiley faces, like a big happy face, just kind of a fine face, or a frowny face, like I'm all in, totally fine, or I am really dragging. And we're going to do this over the course of 7 days. All right. So that's the first part of this, just checking in with yourself every hour or two. How do I just feel in overall energy levels? The second part of this is now to check in with yourself after every large task that you have done throughout the day, to now ask yourself, was this hard at this time of day, or did this feel pretty normal? So for instance, maybe it is 3 o'clock, you're checking in with yourself, you just finished a big organizational task, or maybe you just finished a report for work, and you're taking a step back and you're thinking, I had a really hard time with that. I had a hard time focusing. It felt hard, in which case you're going to make a note of that next to that task and say, this felt hard. Or you might wrap it up and go, felt great. Like I knocked that out. I had an easy time staying focused. Okay. So notice two different layers of information. All right. Because they're not always going to be side by side. For instance, you may feel like I'm feeling pretty average, but after completing a task, you might realize, God, that task felt really hard for me, and I'm not sure why. Okay. So we're going to track this information over the course of an entire week. Now, at the end of the week, now we get to pick up our magnifying glass, kind of, get your Sherlock Holmes detective on, and we're going to go back and look at the information that we've captured over the week to start to identify patterns. So the first thing that we're looking for is, do I see any patterns of just my overall energy level throughout the week? So, usually when I do my energy audits, I tend to find that there's about a 90-minute period, sometime late day, where I'm consistently over the course of the week going, yeah, I was feeling pretty pooped. I was ready for a break. I was, just mentally tapped, whatever that is. Okay. And again, there's no right or wrong answer that we're looking for. You are learning about your body, your energy levels, what works for you. Okay. So that's the first thing that we are looking for, is understanding what are my own personal energy rhythms. When I wake up in the morning, do I wake up feeling ready to conquer the day? Or am I up for a couple hours before I feel like my energy levels are ready to roll? Now, the second thing that we're looking for is anywhere where we have either put down I just finished this task and I rocked it, or the opposite, I got it done and it felt really, really hard. Because now what you're going to start learning about yourself is, are there certain types of tasks or activities that are very hard for you to do during certain times of the day? So for example, and it's interesting, I just recently did an energy audit for myself and I'm starting to see a shift. But when historically, anytime I would sit down to do creative work in the afternoon, anything from writing content or even recording training videos like this, anytime I would schedule these and would be doing them anytime after 1 p.m., I would be making a note to myself of, I did it, but it was hard, or I had to re-record it a couple times, or I kept losing my train of thought, or I kept getting distracted. And so I was able to learn that that type of work is best for me to do in the morning before lunch, because whenever I was doing those tasks in the morning, it usually was getting done in significantly less time because I could stay focused. I didn't have to redo anything. And at the end, my notes were, yeah, that felt good. That felt pretty easy. Side note, at the time I am recording this, it is actually 9:20 in the morning. And I've been doing recordings all morning and working in my creative zone. This is what you are going to learn about yourself. These are going to be your unique, best productive hours, right? And it could be that you have multiple ones throughout the day. So I know that I can work on technology related things in the afternoon and feel great about it, but I can't work on creative work in the afternoon. So it's not like you only have this one zone. You may have multiple times of the day where you are really in motion getting stuff done when you're layering in the right type of work. So once you know this about yourself, now this is an input that you get to bring to the table when you are creating your plan for the week. The key thing, the foundation of everything that I teach inside the top program really starts everybody with a step-by-step process for creating your weekly plan. So if you want to see some of that in action, I would encourage you to go download my app from the App Store. It's called The Pink Bee, all one word. It's in both Apple and Google Play. And I show you this weekly planning process. So you'll see how when you are empowered with the knowledge of your specific kind of productive zones and energy levels, that you can bring that to the table when you're creating your weekly plan. Guys, this is really the secret weapon to how I get as much done in a day with very small windows of time to actually work. It's because I know when those hours are and I'm layering the right work in there instead of constantly trying to shove that square peg into a round hole. Now, once you've done this energy audit, anytime, I find myself, or all of a sudden I'm feeling like things are out of sorts, that's a sign for me. It's time for me to do a new one. Even like literal seasonality, my energy levels change in summer versus winter. Also, I'll find different patterns emerge when we are in maybe a heavy school time or not. So this is not a one and done that now you're never going to do it again for the rest of your life. It's a tool that you can revisit whenever you start to feel that things are a little bit out of whack. All right, hope you found this helpful, and I will see you back here next week for our next question. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, don't forget to hit subscribe here on the channel so that you will be notified when the next training is here.